We are live.
Hey, I told you wait till I introduced you. Come on, bro. Gotta get better at this stuff. All right, here it
Dude,
is. Watch
I
this.
got
All right.
I can't contain it, man. I'm just that excited.
Just that excited. All right, it's understandable. Pretend you
Just
didn't hear him.
excited.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's a guy. A man of great stature. A man with the voice of a Viking. A man... I don't know. I was going to say something about red hair. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our nasty.
What is up, fellas?
Wow.
It's good to be back.
Cringe.
Here for episode 2 of the KyroCast.
Cringe. He knows what he was supposed to say. He was supposed to say, "What's up, Chads and Ballers?"
We may not have any Chads in the chat, though. Do we have any Chads in the chat?
Probably
That's
not.
the real question.
It's just funny because we normally do gaming, and now that we're doing football, I wouldn't be surprised if we got some backlash. And we are live. King Rusty in the chat, a man that spoke when he wasn't supposed to. Now that is a description of Czar if I've ever heard one. That is the description of Czar if I've ever heard one. A man that spoke when he wasn't supposed to. How's everybody doing? Gotta oil up the vocal cords here. Should we just go ahead and get into it? Get into the talk? King Rusty, I think you missed the first one. This is the NFL KyroCast. Eventually, one day, there's probably just going to be a standard KyroCast, which is why I prefaced this one with NFL. Because we're just talking about football. That's all we're here to do. I got my co-host, Rambo, with me. We got a lot to talk about today. This is going to be pretty much really similar format as to what we did the first time. The first time was super impromptu, absolutely no planning whatsoever. I told him about 20-30 minutes in advance. I was like, yo, you want to go live on Twitch and talk about football? And he was like, let's do it. This time I planned out a little bit of what we're going to talk about, so let's do it. Rambo, you just want to get into it? Just want to get into the football?
That sounds good, man. I'm always ready to get into some football.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so first item on the agenda today, let's just get into the NFL AP awards. So all of the awards for the year have already been announced. They came out, was it yesterday morning? Is that right?
Or
it was the night
NFL
before?
honors came out Thursday night.
Yeah. So
Yeah, because everybody's looking all dapper, looking all fresh, you know.
I saw a lot of people talking about it yesterday morning, but it was the night before last. So MVP, most valuable player, Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers. It's not surprising. I'm not surprised that he got MVP. I mean, everyone kept saying he was the favorite. I don't know if I agree. I mean, his stats are really good. He had 4,115 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, and 4 picks. I think the most impressive thing on that stat line of him, and that's regular season, by the way, which is what all these awards are for. 4 picks only is really impressive. I was kind of leaning more towards Tom Brady winning MVP. Who had 5,300 yards, which is 1,200 more than Rodgers, 43 touchdowns, 6 more touchdowns, but he had 12 interceptions, which is 8 more than what Rodgers had. So I could have seen it going either way. Everyone kept saying it was going to be Aaron. I'm not really surprised that it was Aaron. Tom Brady could have won it. But yeah, Rodgers got a lot more votes than Brady. The voting was crazy. A lot of the voting was one-sided. I don't know if there's any award that the voting was pretty close. All of it was pretty decided with the votes. You thought Brady should have got it? Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. He had really good stats, but he did have 3 times the interceptions, which turnovers, can't be doing that. Aaron Rodgers also said in his speech when he was receiving the award, I wanted to ask you about this, Rambo. A lot of people are making a big deal about this. I don't know. He doesn't really say anything. People like to make a big deal out of everything, try to find a story where there isn't necessarily one. We already speculated a little bit about how he's bought land in Tennessee and how the Titans really need a quarterback. I still think that would be cool. But he said this in his speech when he was accepting the MVP award. He said, "It's been an amazing 17 years. I'm so thankful for all of the memories and moments over the years." And a lot of people are saying that sounds like he's saying goodbye to Green Bay, that he feels like his time in Green Bay is over. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit of a reach, but also it is Aaron Rodgers, and it it makes sense. All the context around it, it definitely has never felt like he knows what he's doing or that he's decided at all. I don't know. Rainbow, do you think he's staying in Green Bay?
Truth be told, I really don't know.
Don't
2 or
know.
3 years ago, I would say that quarterbacks that are legends aren't going to leave because normally when it comes to legendary players like that of an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady, people like to kind of stretch their imagination and they like to go through this wishful thinking process. Oh, this legend's going to join my team. My team's going to get this guy. It sounds crazy until Tom Brady heads to Tampa Bay.
True.
So once that shook up the entire football world, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. So we'll have to see. We've seen footage of him trolling guys on the golf course with the Denver Broncos. Obviously, the Broncos are also part of the rumor mill. So we'll have to see. It all depends on if he wants to stay up there in Green Bay with Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, and what his divergent fiance/wife or whatever wants to do.
Lance in
Many
chat.
different moving parts.
Lance in chat says the Titans organization said they're not considering him. Yeah, you could take that as there shouldn't be any hope, but also, what are they going to say? They're going to say, yes, we're trying to get Aaron Rodgers. We hate Ryan Tannehill. And then they don't get Aaron Rodgers, and they're stuck with Tannehill, and now Tannehill hates being on the Titans. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I feel like while they still have their current quarterback, they're not going to say openly, yeah, we're trying to get this other quarterback. That's way better. So, I don't know. I take that a little bit of a grain of salt. I wouldn't have ever said that it was most likely he goes to the Titans anyways. I think it's most likely, honestly, that he stays in Green Bay. I would not be surprised if... well, I would be surprised, but I think the next likely scenario would be either him not necessarily picking up Tom Brady's mantle, but going to the Buccaneers that have a great team and now need a quarterback. I mean, if you think about the teams that are really good but don't have a good quarterback, now it's the Buccaneers and the Titans, and the only other team I could think of, which it's not even the case with yet, but something is going on with Kyler Murray and the Cardinals over there. So if you don't know, Kyler Murray has deleted, and again, I don't know if this weird new generation where everything's on like social media and stuff, and that's how people do things. Kyler Murray has deleted all record of the Arizona Cardinals from his socials. If you look at Kyler Murray's Instagram right now, his posts are him at Oklahoma and the Pro Bowl, I believe, is his other post, and it's like him and CeeDee Lamb or something. So it's basically 2 posts that have to do with him in Oklahoma, and he took Cardinals out of his bio, and he has completely ignored any time it's been asked about it. He went live on Twitch like after that happened and just ignored every question in chat about that. So I don't know if that necessarily means Kyler Murray's done. I don't know if this is just a contract negotiation tactic or if he straight up just is mad at the Cardinals and wants out. I have no idea. But if Kyler Murray does leave the Cardinals, that is another... Yeah, they tanked the last half of the season. They had a horrible playoff game. But you go from a very young quarterback, and Kyler Murray is great. A-tier quarterback. I love Kyler Murray. But you bring in a seasoned veteran, 4-time MVP, top 5 quarterback of all time, Aaron Rodgers, with DeAndre Hopkins and all the other players that they have. That's a good freaking team. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kyler Murray really is done in Arizona. I would not be surprised if Aaron goes there. I would be surprised, but I can see it happening, him going to the Buccaneers, but I think most likely is that he still stays in Green Bay. You got any other thoughts, Czar?
Well, there's one scenario that we're not bringing up. Guys, Aaron Rodgers is old. He's old, and he's been caught at the Kentucky Derby with some other people. He's been dressing up kind of like an old guy, you know. How much longer does he have on the football field? Guys, there's a possibility that Aaron Rodgers could retire.
You think he's gonna retire?
I think it is a possible scenario.
I think.
Do I think he'll retire? I don't. But I do think it is possible that Aaron Rodgers could hang up the cleats.
I think it's more likely that I think most likely case scenario, he comes back for another season with the Packers. I think next likely scenario is that he goes to... I can't think of any other team other than the 3 we mentioned that would be as good of a fit. But again, that being said, no one thought Tom Brady going to the Buccaneers was a possibility, and that happened, and they won a Super Bowl. So Aaron might see something we don't. I don't think he's going to retire. I really don't. Dude just won MVP. I mean, Tom Brady could have just won MVP and he retired. So who knows? These Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are extremely different people, though, for sure. You can see it. Their whole career, they've played different. They've both been successful, but they play differently. They talk differently. They definitely think differently. King Rusty in chat says, rumor is Rambo is the new starting QB for the Bucs. I would love to see that. I think Aaron has at least 2 more years before retirement unless he doesn't want to go to a certain team. That sounds probably right. He's like, what, 37, I think? Aaron Rodgers.
I believe he is around
He's 38.
37.
He just turned 38 in December. So he just turned 38. And Tom Brady's 44 and retired. I forgot he was that old, bro. But yeah, so Aaron Rodgers, I don't think will play till he's 44. But I wouldn't be surprised if he plays at least 1 more season. I could see him doing a one last hurrah with the Packers or doing what can I do in 1 year at a different team kind of thing. So I don't think he's going to retire. Honestly, Aaron's a mysterious guy. Who knows what he's going to do? Who knows? But do you think he retires the same season? Like Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, all these 2000 and 2010 quarterbacks, do you think they all retire in the same offseason?
I don't really know if he's taken those guys into consideration. I think he's only focused on himself. Obviously, I think he respects both those guys, but in the end, those guys have their own careers and he has his own. So I don't think he's taken them into much consideration. I think he's all...
Sure. I didn't mean that necessarily that's what he's thinking about, but I just mean, do you think that would happen? Either way, even if Aaron Rodgers does retire, it would add to this, but even if he just stays in the league, this has felt a lot like a passing of the torch year because of all the young quarterbacks that have been so successful and pretty much dominating the league. That era is definitely... The book is closing, that era, that Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers era. So basically, Matt Stafford got to win this one for the old guys.
Pretty much. And who is going to take on the role of starting quarterback in Green Bay if Aaron Rodgers leaves? Is it going to be Jordan Love, or are they going to go get another guy with some more experience?
I would love to see.
Who are they going to go with?
I would love to see Jordan Love have success, bro. But man, did he look freaking bad when he got to play this year.
Part of why.
Did he just play the one game?
I raised the question.
Did he just play the one game?
I believe he played 1 game. He may have played in 2. I'm pretty sure it was just
I watched
1.
whatever his first start was, and it was hard to watch, bro. But, yeah. All right, let's move on down the list. Offensive Player of the Year, Cooper Kupp. I don't think this one is super surprising. I would not have been surprised if they just gave it to Brady so he would get, an award. But Cooper Kupp definitely should have got it. I don't think there's any argument you can really make. Dude, he 145 receptions, just under 2,000 receiving yards, 16 touchdowns. Oh my gosh, bro. People keep calling him the Triple Crown. Is that just because he led the league in all 3 of those stats? He also, how many records did he break this year? I don't even know. He broke one of the big ones. Was it the yards or was it the receptions?
I think he almost broke the yards one, but Calvin Johnson, he still reigns supreme in that department. The fact that you're in the same company as Calvin Johnson is quite remarkable, I must say. So much credit to Cooper Kupp. Coming back from an ACL tear a few years ago, he didn't get to play. Y'all should remember when the Rams made the Super Bowl a few years ago against the Patriots, Cooper Kupp was out. He didn't get to play.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Cooper Kupp's first Super Bowl. I think that lit a fire under him for sure.
Pretty crazy.
And he came out. He was ready to play.
Dang,
Fans are back at SoFi. New quarterback, a vet. Just great season all around for Cooper Kupp.
We'll talk about it later on in the stream, but the Super Bowl seems like it is stacking up in the Rams' favor. One thing I did want to bring up, though, about the Offensive Player of the Year, I think he was second in voting. But another player that a lot of people thought should have got this award was Jonathan Taylor, who had over 2,000 total yards, rushing and receiving combined. He had over 2,000 yards, and he had 20 touchdowns. Which, if you just look at the stats, that's more yards than Cooper Kupp, and that's more touchdowns than Cooper Kupp. And a lot of people think that's a reason he should have got it. He didn't break any of these records or anything. But what do you think about Jonathan Taylor in this situation?
Ooh. Well, just in general, I love watching Jonathan Taylor play. One thing I think that may have swayed the voting, though, is the incredible catches that Cooper Kupp's made. All the clutch catches. Let's be honest, you're only supposed to consider the regular season with MVP voting.
Yeah.
But, guys, they don't announce this stuff until later on, right before the Super Bowl. It's possible that the postseason could have affected their voting. When do they vote? I don't know. But I do think team record may have played a part in that.
I think it's obvious that they didn't do that. A lot of people also were hating on Aaron Rodgers getting MVP because of that playoff game. I think that made it obvious that they don't take postseason into account for this voting, because Aaron Rodgers, if you go based off his playoff game, looked further from MVP of the National Football League than you can pretty much get for a starting quarterback at the 1 seed. But yeah, also Cooper Kupp, and it's straight up just Offensive Player of the Year. He also, as a littler dude, was laying a lot of blocks out there this season too. I kept seeing those highlights because everyone would go crazy when little receivers laying these crazy blocks out, or at least blocks you wouldn't expect him to make. Did you get to see many of those?
I did. I saw a few, and that's something that when I played football, I was not a receiver, but that was something that always impressed me when I would see a wideout going out there and throwing blocks. Like, I think that's a super valuable asset to a team that gets overlooked 95% of the time. So, if they did take that into consideration, good on the voters, because Cooper Kupp, yes, he's a very good blocker.
And I say he doesn't feel like he's a big dude, but he's 6'2", 194 pounds, so he's definitely not small. But that's a lot bigger than I feel like he is. He also, just to make note of, he was, which is crazy, third in the MVP voting behind Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Over every other player, every other quarterback, Cooper Kupp was third in MVP. Now, a little bit of asterisk next to that, he only got one vote. Meaning, the only people that got voted MVP was Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and one person voted for Cooper Kupp. So, is that really a huge deal? Probably not. But it is cool and kind of funny that Cooper Kupp got third in MVP voting.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
One thing I did hear about that is he's one of the first. He might be the first receiver to get a vote for MVP in the last 20 years or so.
When would the last one have been? I don't know. 20 years though? Surely there's some superstar receiver that got a vote.
That's what I had heard. I can never confirm nor deny facts like that, especially since I've gotten it off social media. But you get my point. When was the last time we saw a receiver win MVP?
I mean, a receiver's never won MVP, has he?
It hasn't been a long time. Maybe Jerry Rice could have won MVP.
Has a receiver ever won MVP? No. Quick Google search. I didn't think so. But
okay, exactly. So, I mean, the voting for MVPs is not there. According to CBS Sports, Rams Cooper Kupp becomes the first receiver in more than 2 decades to receive an NFL MVP vote. There you have it. It's confirmed officially by Brian DeArdo at CBS News.
Wait, what was confirmed? Like, when did you say it was?
Whenever the 11th was. It was yesterday.
No.
11:03 a.m.
When was the last
since 2 decades ago.
2 decades? Wow, that's crazy.
2 decades. It's been that long. Previously, last person to get
a vote,
an MVP vote at the receiver position, was the great Randy Moss.
Randy Moss got did he get one vote or did he get multiple? Or does it say just last receiver to be voted at all?
I do not believe it says. It's been 23 years though, so it's come 23 years after a spectacular season from Randy Moss.
Wild.
It says Randy Moss received 4 MVP votes.
4 MVP votes in 1999. So Cooper Kupp is the only receiver of our lifetimes to get a MVP vote. That is nuts. That one guy who voted him must have just been like, hey, he's not winning. I just feel like making history today. Let's put it on Cooper Kupp. All right, so MVP, Aaron Rodgers, Offensive Player of the Year, Cooper Kupp, Defensive Player of the Year. I think this one was pretty much a lock. I don't know. I don't really have much to say about this one because you can't really argue it too bad. Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt, linebacker for the Steelers. He had 64 tackles, 22 and a half sacks. 22 and a half sacks, and he didn't even play every game this season. He played 14 games?
I believe it was 14, and everybody's like, oh, TJ Watt, he broke Michael Strahan's sack record, had more games to do it. Fellas, he was out for a few games. The fact that he broke Michael Strahan's sack record is definitely worthy of respect. Michael Strahan's one of the all-time greats.
Michael Strahan's one of the all-time greats.
This is not even close. As much as I love, Micah Parsons, this was not close. TJ Watt, Defensive Player of the Year, runs in the family.
TJ Watt, 22 and a half sacks, broke the record. I don't think there's any argument. I don't really have much else to say about him. 22 and a half sacks is unreal, bro. That's so many sacks. Crazy.
Now, did it probably help that he played against the Bengals twice? Yeah.
Hey, bro, that's a Super Bowl team. That's a Super Bowl team.
But it doesn't matter, man. TJ Watt's a stud. He's so fast rushing off the edge. His footwork's incredible. He has great hands.
He's insane.
And he's just a tenacious pass rusher. So
he's insane. I will never, ever, ever, ever forgive the Dallas Cowboys for selecting Taco Charlton over TJ Watt in that draft. I will never forgive
you can thank Jerry and Steven for that one.
You can thank Jerry and Steven for a lot. Moving on. Offensive Rookie of the Year. This one, a little bit, I wouldn't say controversy, a little bit of debate on this one. However, I think they made the right pick. Offensive Rookie of the Year, wide receiver for the Super Bowl appearing Cincinnati Bengals, Jamar Chase. 81 catches, almost 1,500 receiving yards, 13 touchdowns as a rookie. Pretty insane. Jamar Chase is awesome. Everyone pretty much knows Jamar Chase by now. Even in that AFC Championship against the Chiefs, he was making some crazy plays. That catch he had in the end zone, I think, was it their first or second touchdown, the Bengals? You might not remember. But
I believe it was their second, but I can't confirm or deny
whenever
that
it was, I remember seeing it and immediately feeling like that was a huge momentum turning point in the game, like that surged the Bengals. Whenever he got it, I can't remember if it was their first touchdown or their second. It could have been neither, but I'm pretty sure it was one of those two. But when he got that catch, I was like, how insane is it that these teammates that went to the same school, one of them is a rookie, one of them is in their second year and missed most of their first year, or at least a good chunk of their first year. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And now in the AFC Championship to go to the Super Bowl, they're making huge clutch touchdowns together. Absolutely crazy. Now, the only argument I think that could have been made for a different rookie to be Offensive Rookie of the Year would have been Mac Jones. Now, I definitely think Jamar Chase was the right pick. Mac Jones, though, rookie quarterback, led his team to I don't have his stats pulled up, but good. They had a good record. They made the playoffs. They got stomped by the Bills, but he's a rookie quarterback. Yes, he has Bill Belichick, likely the greatest coach of all time. His stats weren't insane. However, honestly, Mac Jones should have gotten, if they took playoffs into account, Offensive Rookie of the Year should have gone to Mac Jones for his gritty alone. I don't think that can be argued. I might even pull that up for us to watch on stream because of how swag it is. I'm saying that mainly because I know Lance thinks it's cringe. But honestly, I don't know how you can realistically think that's cringe. There are so many cringe gritties out there, bro. Look up Adam Schefter. Look up Kirk Cousins and Adam Thielen, bro. There are so many awful gritties out there. And Mac Jones was hard. Basically, what I'm saying is, if in the Super Bowl, I don't see Joe Burrow run for a touchdown and gritty in the end zone, I don't know why they even showed up, you know? Just hand the trophy to the Rams if that doesn't happen. But yeah, I think they made the right choice. Jamar Chase, Rookie of the Year. I think that's correct. You have anything to add, Czar?
Nope. I honestly don't think this was even close. Jamar Chase, 200-yard games, reception yards wise. The man just is a freak athlete. He has incredible hands, great route running. I would watch him play sometimes, and I'd be like, dude, there's no defender within 20 yards of the man. How is this possible? He's just insane route running, insane hands. I'm I mean, that's what everybody expected. We all saw the plays he made at LSU. I hate LSU more than just about anything else in this world, but man, the dude can make some plays. He's a playmaker, and Joe Burrow's a playmaker. Combine the two, and the chemistry only grows.
Yeah.
This wasn't even close.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it was really close. Something else I wanted to say, speaking of the gritty, yes, Justin Jefferson with the Vikings is the one that introduced that to the National Football League. But in a recent interview, he may have already said this before, but I had never heard it until I saw him being interviewed by Emmanuel Acho and Marcellus Wiley. But Justin Jefferson, I'm pretty sure, said that at LSU, Jamar Chase is actually the one that brought it to LSU. I'm pretty sure that is correct. Jamar Chase is actually the one that did that. And if you look at Jamar Chase hit the gritty, he hits it better than anyone I've ever seen. Yes, Justin Jefferson brought it, and his is awesome. But Jamar Chase is nuts. So because of that, and speaking about what I was just saying about Joe Burrow, you know Joe Burrow can hit a nasty gritty, bro. Not just because he's just one of the swaggiest QBs I've ever seen, but because he is best friends with Jamar Chase, and they've been teammates for... They feel like years now, because they were teammates at their championship run at LSU, and now they're teammates going to the Super Bowl in the NFL. And also, I was watching an interview yesterday of Joe Burrow and Drew Brees. I believe it's on YouTube on like NBC Sports or CBS Sports, one of the two, I think. I could be wrong. Anyways, it's a Drew Brees and Joe Burrow interview, and Joe Burrow talks about that. He was asked, like, how similar of a feel is this to your college run? And he said it actually feels really similar because we have a lot of the same players from that LSU team on this Bengals team, which I think is crazy. Moving on to Defensive Rookie of the Year. My boy, my dog, Micah Parsons, Defensive Rookie of the Year. I didn't get extremely hyped about this only because I knew it was going to happen. There was absolutely no way you could have put someone else a Defensive Rookie of the Year. Micah Parsons, as a rookie in the National Football League, first year against these grown men, 84 tackles and 13 sacks. What I think is more impressive than Micah Parsons getting Defensive Rookie of the Year is that he was second in Defensive Player of the Year, just behind TJ Watt, and over Aaron Donald. Micah Parsons, the rookie linebacker. He had 20 more tackles than TJ Watt, but pretty much 10 less sacks. So he had almost half the sacks, a little more than half the sacks of TJ Watt, 20 more tackles. I definitely think TJ Watt deserves Defensive Player of the Year, definitely not Micah Parsons, but Rookie of the Year by a long shot. Actually insane that he got second in Defensive Player of the Year. It's crazy. Micah Parsons, he's my dog. He's on my team. Absolutely in love with Micah Parsons. He's awesome. You got any thoughts, Czar, on that one?
Nope. Micah Parsons definitely exceeded my expectations. I knew watching him on draft night, I saw his highlights at Penn State, and I was like, okay, this guy's pretty good. But Cowboys fans, we all know how we do in the draft. We waste picks. We are notorious draft pick wasters.
Yes, but we also draft really well sometimes. We've
Except
had some really good draft picks the last, like, 5 years.
Except for 2016. That's the exception.
No, it's not. Not necessarily. Yes, we got Zeke and Dak in 2016. But who have we drafted since then? We got CeeDee Lamb was a great pick.
I would say CD.
CeeDee Lamb was a great pick. Micah Parsons was a great pick. Trayvon Diggs. Everyone likes to hate on Trayvon Diggs because he's a Cowboy and gets too much hype. Trayvon Diggs was a great pick in the second round. Who else? Didn't we draft Gallup in like the third round? Michael Gallup?
Potentially. What worries me every year at the Cowboys, though, particularly, I should probably amend what I said before. What worries me about the Cowboys is we notoriously waste first-round picks.
Well,
our best picks seem to come in the second and third round.
Think of that is the only recent example of us wasting a first-round pick that I can think of is Taco Charlton. It's the only recent one. But yeah, it'll forever haunt me that we didn't get TJ Watt.
A massive waste.
That was a massive waste, yes.
I saw Micah Parsons in his highlights, and I had hope, and he still exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, I feel bad.
And the confidence and the swagger too, to come out and say the NFL is easy. He thinks the NFL is easier than college. It takes a special mindset to be able to say something like that.
Sure.
I think Micah Parsons is just getting started.
I heard all the.
He's in a.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm just saying he's in a position on the field where he's not like a quarterback where you can kind of figure out tendencies. He's not a receiver where you can figure out his tendencies when he's breaking on a route. You know, at the linebacker position, especially when he's rushing the quarterback as much as he is, his tendencies are things that, like, once they're perfected, you can't stop it. They're unbeatable. Keep working on the hands. His footwork's good. He's very strong for a rookie. He's just getting started. I think he could potentially be Defensive Player of the Year next season if he continues to progress at the rate he has been so far.
I would obviously love to see it. I would love to see Micah Parsons get Defensive Player of the Year.
There's
Obviously.
some stiff competition there, but
yeah,
I do think he has potential.
I'm excited to see how his second year goes. I also thought it was hilarious to see people, like other players, complaining that he was going hard in the Pro Bowl. I thought that was hilarious. Like, even on, like, I want to say on, like, a kneel-down play, he was trying to get to him. It's just funny. I just love how he plays. He's not one... I think why he would have said, oh, the NFL is easy, is because maybe not a lot, but there's a decent amount of people in the NFL that are making their millions of dollars and are just kind of coasting at that point. Whereas in college, you have people fighting for scholarships, fighting to hopefully get recognized by the league. And that's a lot of the reason... the people that like college more than the NFL, a lot of their reasoning for that is because of that aspect of it. I definitely prefer pro to college, but I think that is probably why Micah Parsons would have said that, is because there's enough people in the NFL that probably aren't going all out every single play to make it noticeable. Whereas Micah Parsons, even in the Pro Bowl, he's going hard. Even when the Cowboys are getting crapped on, he's playing hard. He is the only player on our team I've never seen get discouraged, like, at all, at any point. Dude plays the exact same. Up 30, down 30, tie game. And that's my favorite thing about him. Coach of the year.
Especially for a rookie. A rookie to never get discouraged during a game is very rare.
Yes, that's true. That a rookie doesn't get discouraged. As far as how hard he plays, though, I'm not going to let myself get too extremely overly hooked on that, because there's another player in the Dallas Cowboys who may or may not play running back that had the most incredible going hard rookie season, and then since then has broken my heart and dreams for not being as amazing as he was his rookie year. It's really sad, but we're going to move on. Coach of the year is another one that I think 100% they got correct. Mike Vrabel, head coach of the Tennessee Titans. 12-5 record, which is a good team, obviously. If you're 12-5, you're a good football team. However, what I think is impressive about... I think this is what everyone will say. The reason why that is so impressive is because they were 7-3 without Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, I think, is pretty indisputably the best running back in the league right now. And with that, obviously, that means you're a running football team. That means that your game plan is structured around running the football with your superstar best running back in the league. Mike Vrabel 100% deserves Coach of the Year because he went 7-3 without Derrick Henry after he went out the back half of the season. 12-5 record. Finished 12-5 as a 1 seed, got the first round bye, when over half of the year... They didn't, or I guess over half of the year. They didn't have him for 10 games. 7 games with Derrick Henry, 10 games without. And they were 1 seed, 12-5, 7-3 without Derrick Henry. You have to, as a coach, when your best player who you structure your whole offensive game plan around, he goes out seemingly for the rest of the year, the amount of game plan changing that you have to do. And not only that, you have to get the guys who weren't having as much of a workload with the superstar Derrick Henry getting all these reps. The guys that weren't getting as much play time, that weren't having as much of a workload, that didn't have to get as many reps, are now suddenly having all the more thrown at them. Your game plan has to change, and you as a coach have to manage all of that. To manage that and become the 1 seed, get the first round bye, and go 7-3 without that star player, and not to mention your quarterback. This also has to be taken into account. Because a quarterback, how important he is to a team's success, and your quarterback is the legendary Ryan Tannehill. I think there's no arguing all of those points as Mike Vrabel being Coach of the Year. I think it's a lock. All of those things, like, that makes me... have any opinion on Mike Vrabel before this year. I didn't care about Mike Vrabel. He's whatever. He's a coach in football. He's a coach in the National Football League. I am a Mike Vrabel fan because of what I just said. I respect coaching a lot. As a coach, being able to do that is extremely impressive and earns a lot of respect from me. Czar, I know you're wanting to be a football coach one day. What do you think about this Coach of the Year pick?
Personally, I love it. I've been a huge fan of Mike Vrabel. You look at some clips of Mike Vrabel. He's a former player. He played for Bill Belichick with the New England Patriots. He has a Super Bowl ring. He may even have 2. But you look at him out there at practice, he cares. When you're doing drills, he's out there, he's getting stiff-armed by Derrick Henry. He's helping the offensive and defensive linemen, helping them work on their hand techniques, their footwork. The man cares, and the man knows how to win as a player and as a coach. And so being able to see him adjust on the fly, especially with freak injury to Derrick Henry, and then you watch Tennessee, and you never know which running back they're going to start with one game. Adrian Peterson, Jeremy McNichols, Deontay Foreman, all these guys that they had to just cycle in, and these guys that we've either never heard of, or guys that are washed up like Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
Because Adrian Peterson, he's old. He's still a great talent, still one of all-time greats, but he's just old. So,
yeah,
much credit to Mike Vrabel for making that work.
Yeah, and that's what you just brought up is another thing. Not only is his main, like with Derrick Henry, your game plan is going to be focusing on the run game. It's not, like you said, it's not even like they had a consistent backup that they could have worked into that similar game plan. They kept having to change it with people that obviously aren't nearly as good. But when you look at Mike Vrabel, you were saying that he was a former player and such. This dude just looks like a football coach. Like, just look at him. Like, the facial structure, like, he looks like a former player, but he just looks like a football coach. Now, I don't know what he played. I didn't know that he was a former player for the Patriots, but if I had to guess from looking at this dude, he looks like he would have played tight end. Is that right? Because he looks like a tight end. I don't know what he played.
He was a defensive lineman when he played.
Defensive lineman? Dang. I was going to say.
He's a defensive lineman, but Belichick did put him in on a few goal line packages, and he has multiple touchdowns in his career, or had. Okay. But he's a defensive lineman, and he was an All-American at The Ohio State University.
The Ohio State University.
So, the man can play some ball.
Yeah. My second guess would have been like defensive end or something. But yeah, I think he looked
I think he was on the end. He's more of an edge guy, but he's a big edge guy.
Okay, yeah. Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year. I think that's the correct pick. Moving on from that, there's a couple other awards. That's the last, main award. We'll talk about a couple others. There's 2 more I want to talk about. I will mention the, I don't really have anything to say about this one too much. The Bridgestone Performance Play of the Year is Justin Tucker's 66-yard field goal. I mean, I don't know what other play I would have picked. I watched that live. Absolute insanity. Watching Justin Tucker break the the field goal distance record was insane. Off the crossbar, it was nuts. I absolutely love it. And it was for the win. It was clutch, too. It wasn't like it was just, it's halftime, or about to be halftime, let's just kick this big field goal. It was for the win, bro. That kick was insane. So, yeah. I don't know what other play I would have said was play of the year. I don't really have much to say about this one. I'm just looking at the list of the awards. That play was nuts. But the next award I want to talk about, it's 2 players we've already talked a lot about in these first 2 streams up to this point. Sorry, I'm looking at chat. Lance is telling you to look up his offensive stats. I think he's talking about Vrabel because he mentioned all of his catches in the NFL are touchdowns and he's never dropped a pass. That's nuts. Anyway,
I believe that is accurate. I have not done official research on that, but I believe that stat is accurate.
Okay, we'll take his word for it. But yeah, just adds to everything we said about Mike Vrabel. The next stat I want to talk about has to do with 2 players we've talked about a lot in these 2 streams, which is Comeback Player of the Year. The winner of the Comeback Player of the Year is Joe Burrow. And I did not, on Pro Football Reference, they have a lot of the voting, like the actual votes for each award. But because this isn't one of the official like AP awards, it's an official award. But I think they only put like the voting up for the AP awards. Maybe it exists for the Comeback Player of the Year. I just didn't see it anywhere. But Joe Burrow won Comeback Player of the Year. I think who would have been second in line for that would have been Dak Prescott. Now, I just want to compare a little bit. Personally, I think it should have been Dak. Not just because I'm a Cowboys fan. I know that's what people want to say. Because, oh, I'm a Cowboys fan. I just love Dak Prescott so much. Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in the NFL. He's better than Patrick Mahomes. He's better than Josh Allen. He's better than Aaron Rodgers. He's already career-wise, if he retired today, would go down as a better quarterback than Tom Brady. I'm not saying that. I know I'm a Cowboys fan. It's not what I'm saying. I understand we have a really annoying fan base. That's not me, bro. That's some other guy. Some other guy you talk to. It's not me. But I do think Dak Prescott should have won Comeback Player of the Year. Let's just analyze the stats. I've already said Dak's stats lie a little bit. So, again, I'm not mad Joe Burrow got it. I think any other year I would have said Joe Burrow should have won it. Here's why I think it should have been Dak. Let's look at the stats. Last year, Dak Prescott gets injured, misses 11 games. When Joe Burrow gets injured, he only missed the last 6 games of the season. So, when you're thinking about a comeback player of the year and their comeback story, Dak Prescott missed 11 games, Joe Burrow missed 6. And then you look at their stats this year. What do they do this year after that? Dak missed 11 games, how did he respond? Joe Burrow missed 6 games, how did he respond? Dak, 4,441 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Which, the 37 touchdowns and the 4,400 yards, that's on par with what Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes' stats were. Do I think Dak Prescott is skill-wise on par with Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes? No. And again, I think a lot of Dak's stats lie a little bit. But if you just look at the regular season stats, Dak Prescott's regular season stats after missing 11 games last year was on par with Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes' stat lines. Aaron Rodgers, by the way, as we have mentioned, won MVP of the National Football League. Joe Burrow, who missed 6 games last year, I don't have his passing yards for some reason on me. But he had 34 touchdowns and 13 picks. So I don't know exactly how many passing yards he had, but I feel like it wasn't 4,400. So I could be wrong about the passing yards, but looking at the stats, after missing more games last year, Dak Prescott had more passing yards, had more passing touchdowns, and had less interceptions. If you just look at the stats, I think it should have been Dak. Now, and again, I believe this is also a regular season award. If it's not, then Joe Burrow going from being a rookie who got injured early into the second half of his rookie year and then comes back his sophomore season to go to the Super Bowl, makes him Comeback Player of the Year, undoubtedly. But if it is a regular season award, like all the others pretty much are, I think it should definitely be Dak. I'm not mad about it. Joe Burrow, Comeback Player of the Year, fantastic. He needed to get an award this year. This feels like just the year of Joe Burrow. But personally, I think it should have been Dak. He had 4,600 yards. Never mind. Joe Burrow had more yards. He had fewer touchdowns and more interceptions, but he had more yards. I'm going to fact check that really quick. Joe Burrow, regular season stats. I like Pro Football Reference. He had 4,600 yards. You're right. Okay, Joe Burrow had more passing yards, but he had fewer touchdowns and more interceptions. So, regular season, I still think it should have been Dak, regardless of him having a couple hundred more yards. But I'm not mad about Joe Burrow getting it. Joe Burrow absolutely deserves it. I just think Dak for regular season deserved it a little bit more. But that's just my personal opinion. Rambo, what do you think?
Well, I will say both these guys had great seasons coming off of really, really bad injuries. Both of them were super gruesome. But we're kind of forgetting about the defensive side of the ball here, guys, because we got 2 big names. We've got Nick Bosa and Derwin James. Derwin James has not gotten much playing time since the 2018 season. 2019, he played in a few games, and he got hurt, and he's been getting hurt over and over and over again, and the guy just can't seem to get on the field. Finally got to play, I believe he got to play 17 games this season. Got to play all 17 games. And when you look at his stats, he had a pretty good comeback season. had 118 total tackles, assisted and solo combined, 2 sacks, and he had 2 picks. So, I mean,
So do you
was it
think
the
one
best
of
season you could have? No. But my big thing is with Nick Bosa. Let's wind the clocks back a little bit. So, Nick Bosa, he's a 2019 Defensive Rookie of the Year, right? The Watt brothers, the Bosa brothers, you know what they're there to do. They're there to play some ball. However, last season, week 2, blows his knee out, left ACL tear. He's got surgery and he's got rehab. He comes back this season to play a rough, physical position on the defensive line. Look at his stats. He played in all 17 games, 15 and a half sacks, a career high. Leads the league in TFLs at 21 tackles for loss. My question is, how does the man not get a single vote? Because we actually have the voting breakdown according to NBC Sports.
you were able to find the voting breakdown?
I was.
If
So
you don't, yeah, just go ahead and list off what the votes
So
actually were.
Joe Burrow coming back from a torn ACL and MCL in 2020, which is just a monumental task. Joe Burrow collects 28 votes. Because I should just put out this disclaimer. Personally, as somebody that's been injured before, I take the significance of their injury into consideration, like a whole lot.
That's kind of what.
So
Burrow, I'll throw in
28.
there. Lance was saying in chat, I don't think the games missed last season matters. I don't think they take that into account when they're voting. I don't think that. That's not what I was saying. My point was, like, as far as like a comeback story, I don't even really think they should take in games missed last season into account. My point was, though, it had been a lot longer since, I say a lot. It had been at least 5 games longer since Dak Prescott had played football than Joe Burrow had. That's pretty much all I threw that out there for. Meaning Dak had missed a longer amount of time since he was able to play and then had a better stat line minus yards. Anyways, but back to it. So 28 votes for Joe Burrow. What were the rest of the votes? Sorry.
I agree with you and Lance both. I think you're both coming at it from your own perspectives. And so I think in your own right, you're both correct. So let's go back to the voting. So we got Burrow with 28, right? 7 more than Dak Prescott, who came in second with 21.
So that one actually was close.
Right. So it was pretty close.
None of the votes for I only saw the voting for all of the awards we talked about before this, and none of those were really very close. But this one, 28-21, that is pretty close. Who was third?
There was one more vote, and it went to Derwin James.
Okay. So
now, Derwin James, the man's a stud. Y'all may not know who he is, and that's probably because he hasn't been on the field very much. So, I mean, that just says a whole lot. So I really enjoyed watching Derwin James play this year. I haven't got to watch him play in a long time. Nick Bosa, he had a great season as well. And
So do you think
I just personally think Nick Bosa deserves a little more respect from the voters and from the NFL fan base in general, which I think he gets, but more so from the voters.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think Derwin James or Nick Bosa should have won over Joe Burrow?
Derwin James, no. I think between Joe Burrow and Nick Bosa, I think it more depends on whether the voters were offensive minded or defensive minded.
And most people,
since we're talking about a strictly regular season award, talking about the regular season strictly, I do think Nick Bosa. I'm not saying Nick Bosa should have won. I am saying, though, he should have gotten some consideration for sure.
Okay.
Because for him to come back off an ACL injury, and he basically missed all of last season. He hadn't played since September of 2020. He comes back after a year off. He's been rehabbing his ACL injury. Comes back, 15 and a half sacks, a career high, and he leads the league in TFLs at 21. I think that deserves some appreciation, some consideration.
Yeah, I agree. I think that definitely deserves...
No disrespect to Joe. I think Joe Burrow is the clear winner. But I think the parity between Joe Burrow and Nick Bosa, it's too wide of a gap, in my opinion.
Okay.
But
I mean, I agree. They deserve more respect. But a lot of the voting, it's like, if there is a clear winner, that's where most of the voting is going to go to. What's up, Free Say? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. I did want to ask, so between the top two, Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott, do you think they got it right? I just want to know
Yes,
your
I believe
opinion.
so.
You think Joe
I
Burrow
believe
over
so.
Dak?
Yes. Yes, because I mean, I think they both had incredible seasons, and Dak's injury was especially gruesome. And so for him to be able to come back, I was watching this first game. I was nervous. I was like, "Oh, don't let him hit Dak low," and he's moving around just fine, and he's out there slinging that thing. So I I think they both played fantastic seasons coming off injuries. I
Agree.
think Joe Burrow is a winner.
I get that. I'm not. Oh, Caleb, what's up, bro? Thanks for the sub, buddy. I appreciate it. Welcome to the NFL KyroCast, Season 0, Episode 2. So I agree with everything you're saying. I'm not mad that Joe Burrow got it. I think he definitely deserved to win this award. I just personally think it should have been Dak for this particular season, but I don't think there's anything wrong with Joe Burrow getting it this year. Only other award really that I wanted to talk about was the Man of the Year award. I didn't have a ton to say about Andrew Whitworth getting it. I think Andrew Whitworth, I mean, he won the award for a reason. Is just a freaking stand-up guy. And I'm really happy that he is getting another chance for a Super Bowl as well. He's not anybody I mentioned in the last stream as reasons for wanting the Rams to win it, but Andrew Whitworth is awesome. I don't know if you got to see his speech, but his story about the player and the Boys and Girls Club, did you get to see that speech at all? Is a really heartfelt speech, bro. It
I did.
For sure.
I did. There's nothing more that I love than a speech, a really, really good speech and really well-written speech from an athlete, because we can all connect to it, right? Anyone that's an athlete here, they know. Anybody that's been able to mentor somebody younger or been able to share their love for sport with somebody else, it just works.
For sure.
So I enjoyed the speech. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was awesome. Hearing that story was fantastic. You love to hear it. The Boys and Girls Club. I grew up playing basketball at the Boys and Girls Club long before me and Zara became teammates. So just the fact that a professional player would go back to a Boys and Girls Club and spend enough time there to be that significant and impactful in a player's life, for him to eventually make it to the same league and get to come up and talk to him about it, that's amazing. Absolutely love that. All right, got to bounce. I'll see you later. Peace out, Lance. You have a good one. Andrew and Joe Burrow are like best friends. Really?
That is true. They are good friends. They both rehabbed the injuries together.
Oh, that's cool.
Andrew Whitworth is in his 40s.
Yeah.
The man's got gray hair, and he's a starting left tackle for one of the most dynamic offenses in the league.
And he's
I mean,
still
come
a
on, man.
He's 6'7", bro. Dude's a monster.
He is a straight up all-pro. The man's legit.
Andrew Whitworth is insane. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about as far as the awards go. We got a couple more segments to go. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break here since we just finished up this segment nicely. It's been almost an hour so far. I can't imagine the next segment goes nearly as long as what we just did. And then maybe we'll do a tier list and then talk about the Super Bowl. We'll see how time's looking. I do have to take a test after this and then do some homework tonight. So that's what I'm going to be doing the rest of the day. But let me take a quick break here, and we'll be right back. Rambo, feel free to talk to chat if anyone wants to talk to you. But if not, I'll be back in a couple minutes. SoFi Stadium has no AC, and it's supposed to be 85 degrees. Is that real? That's a hot Super Bowl.
They better get that fixed.
That's what you get for holding it in Cali. Is there really no AC in SoFi Stadium? Isn't that like supposed to be the most
SoFi Stadium is
futuristic
brand
stadium?
new.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
There's no way they actually don't have AC in that building. Does it only seat 70,000? I mean, that's a lot, but like...
It's got to seat more than that. Razorback Stadium, they seat like at least 75,000.
AT&T seats like 80-something thousand, or I think.
It only seats 70,000 people? Are you kidding me?
The stadium, for all its perks, does not have air conditioning. Bro, what a joke. That's going to suck for everybody involved, especially with all those people. Not only is it supposed to be 85 degrees, apparently, and outdoor with no AC, but there's going to be 70,000 plus bodies heating that place up. That's going to blow for everybody there. I hope you enjoyed paying $4,000 plus for a ticket up in the rafters for that experience. I'm going to watch it on TV and eat Buffalo Wild Wings and enjoy myself.
Chat, Razorback Stadium seats 6,000 more people than SoFi Stadium, home of the Los Angeles Rams and the Los Angeles Chargers. That is, I understand that, but gosh, that's still not an excuse. There's got to be more seating than that. You're in LA, dude. Like, that's still just, it's SoFi. SoFi is supposed to be like the biggest new stadium like in NFL history, and it has no seating. It has no air conditioning. Opposing teams' fans go there every week. It's just awful. Just sad. Nobody likes the Chargers. Too many people like the 49ers. Just sad.
All right. Let's move on to our next segment. Let's talk about this Alvin Kamara situation. I do have some things I want to say about it as far as a news segment, but we'll get there in a minute. For now, let's just go ahead and I'll read this article to y'all just so everyone can be on the same page about kind of what happened. This happened weekend of the Pro Bowl. Las Vegas police arrested New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara on a battery charge Sunday night following the Pro Bowl. But it was revealed later that they knew, and the NFL knew, that Kamara was a suspect before the Pro Bowl. Meaning that this happened before the Pro Bowl. They knew about it, but they let him finish the Pro Bowl. I think that's fine. I don't really have much of an issue with that, especially because he was a suspect at the time. Who knew what they knew? Sheriff says they identified Kamara as a suspect Sunday morning, but in order to gain his cooperation so they could find out the identities of others involved, they opted to wait until after the Pro Bowl to interview him since he agreed to comply and all that. He was arrested and booked on suspicion of battery, resulting in substantial bodily harm on Sunday night. According to documents, police allege that Kamara and 3 others beat a man until he was unconscious at a club in Las Vegas. According to the report, Kamara and the others allegedly stomped on the victim's face and chest 23 times, punching him 9 times, 8 of which of those punches came from Alvin Kamara. A horrible, horrible deal, obviously. Nothing like this is ever something that is fun to hear about. I mean, yeah, it gets people talking. It's a story to talk about, but I don't think anyone ever enjoys seeing a promising 26-year-old superstar running back have something like this happen. It's a really horrible deal. It sucks. What the heck is going on with the NFL in Las Vegas, though? Was this just the greatest mistake of all time? I mean, obviously, grown men, NFL players should be able to conduct themselves no matter where they're at, but I don't know, man. It sucks. There's been freaking the whole Henry Ruggs thing. I forget they had 1 or 2 other players have issues as well in the Raiders. There's, of course, the Gruden thing, which wasn't really a product of Vegas, was just another thing that happened on the team that resides there. Really unfortunate for Alvin Kamara. That's the situation about it. But I do want to go into another segment that will maybe shed a new light on the situation, and maybe even, well, it'll definitely make it feel less sad and tense. So I'm excited to introduce a brand new segment that will hopefully be returning whenever I can think of something bizarre. I'm going to take my headphones off. I won't be able to hear you if you talk, but just let me give my speech. Sound good?
Sounds fantastic.
Sounds fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the brand new segment known as KyroCast Conspiracy.
Oh, this should be... Oh, boy.
Hear me out, right? Okay? What if, all right? Listen. What if Alvin Kamara strategically planned this? What if this situation was intentional? Okay? Hear me out. Think about it. The Saints, the New Orleans Saints, just finished 9-8 and didn't make the playoffs. Okay? Right? Keep listening. Their Hall of Fame coach, Sean Payton, just retired, leaving the team with having to search for a brand new head coach. With their amazing coach, they just finished 9-8. Now he's gone. The Saints don't even have a set quarterback, and it's not like their current options are spectacular. They've got, Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill. They're not Drew Brees, okay? So listen, what if Seeing all of this, Alvin Kamara, who realizes that he is probably the best player on that team, thinks to himself, I want out of this situation. But he can't. He can't get out of that situation. Why? Because he is currently under contract until 2026, a 5-year contract, right? 26-year-old running back. That's young for an athlete, not young, but it's about prime age for an athlete typically. But nowadays, running backs don't last that long in the league anymore. He's 26 years old already. He only has a few more years of prime left as a running back. Yes, with this 5-year contract up until 2026, he's got his money set up for life, but he probably wants to win games, maybe win Super Bowls, and build up a legacy for himself, right? That's pretty much what most everybody wants to do when it comes to professional sports. The Saints obviously aren't going to want to move him. He's their best player. He's their star player. The only way he could possibly leave the Saints is if the Saints released him. Hear me out. What if Alvin Kamara went out and did something horrible enough to get the Saints to possibly cut him, because keeping a guy who jumped someone with his friends is a bad PR look, right? What if he planned to hopefully get cut by the Saints and eventually sign with a contending team? He's a receiving back, right? Maybe he'd want to go to a team with a great quarterback and a great passing game that doesn't necessarily currently have a star running back. A team with a great quarterback, a contending team, great passing game, doesn't have a superstar quarterback. Maybe a team like Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe a team like Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. It makes sense when you think about it, okay? Something to think about. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a KyroCast conspiracy. Thank you so much for listening. What do you think?
Well, let me tell you what I think. I think I can officially relinquish my title of the L-Take King. So let me get this straight. The new KyroCast conspiracy.
Okay, now let me
Alvin Kamara got himself arrested, beating somebody up in Vegas, which is something that happens quite often. John Jones. He did this also he could get out of the disaster that is the New Orleans Saints franchise. No Sean Payton, no good established quarterback, correct? Am I correct on your assessment so far?
Okay, let me hold on.
And then
let me
he
say
decides,
this.
and then he has the intent all the way down the road to somehow end up in Kansas City
Or Buffalo. Okay,
Guys, I gotta be honest. You can't make this stuff up.
Okay, the thing is, I want to say, whenever there's a KyroCast conspiracy segment, whenever I bust out the tinfoil hat, what I'm saying is not my actual opinion. It's just what funny story I could make out of the current scenario, current facts. Anyways, I thought that was pretty funny. I just thought, I was thinking about it, and I was like, what if that happened, bro? And boom, the idea for the KyroCast conspiracy segment was born. I do not think that is what happened, but
Oh, dearie me.
it's funny to think about. Anyways, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about Alvin Kamara. Shorter segment. That was only like, 15 minutes at most. That was the first of maybe many KyroCast conspiracy. Whenever they pop up, they'll be fun, I'm sure. But yeah, that's the end of that segment. There's only 2 other things I might have wanted to talk about. Do you want to go ahead and do a running backs tier list this episode? Or
Yeah, let's
do you
do
think
it
it's
if
a
we
little
got
bit too
time.
late?
If we got time, I'm more than down to do so.
Let's go for it then.
It's all up to the
Did you end up
esteemed
finding a
host.
good one? And again, it's just for this past season. Did you end up finding a good one?
I ended up finding a decent one.
Okay.
A decent one.
Decent one. Is there anything wrong with it that you noticed?
That I noticed, no.
Okay.
Other than some guys went through some number changes and maybe a few uniform changes.
Oh,
Other than
gosh, I
that,
don't know if I'm
everything.
going to be able to recognize all these people's names. We'll see what I can do.
That is why you have a
That
co-host
is why I have a co-host.
of this stature.
Yeah, if I was doing this with Lance, he would know maybe 2 names. Derrick Henry and Ezekiel Elliott. That's pretty much the only names I would say Lance could probably.
I'm pretty
actually
sure
name
Lance
right
would at
now.
least know his division rivals, right?
I don't know if Lance knows what teams are in the Titans division.
Tell you what, Lance, if you're in chat,
He had to go. He
name
already
the 4
said.
teams in the AFC South without looking them up on the Google. Go. You have 15 seconds.
He's
No,
already
10.
left. He's already left. But all right, let's.
Oh, I forgot he did leave. All right, well, he's a coward. I'll
He's a
wait for
coward.
him to get back.
I am gonna propose a little wager that you better accept on our last segment, but we'll get there when we get there, okay? All right, let's do this.
You know, he may give me an offer I can't refuse.
That was while the scene was changing. I don't know if they could hear that, but Rambo said he's not a betting man, but sometimes he'll get an offer that he can't refuse. We'll see. We'll see. All right. NFL running backs tier list from this past season. We're gonna do it the same way. We're just gonna go S tier and work our way down. I think the best running back in football. Yes, he was injured most of the year. I'm not going necessarily off their how they played. You know, if they got injured, it's whatever. S tier, best running back in football, I think is Derrick Henry. I don't think anyone's gonna argue that. I don't think Rambo would argue that. Hey, he's Derrick Henry. We've seen him be absolutely insane for the last at least 2 or 3 years that he's been, I believe, an MVP contender with how good he's been. But he's the best current running back in football, I believe. I think most people believe at this point. I don't think there's much dispute. Rambo, thoughts?
Nope, no dispute here. Derrick Henry, King Henry, is the best running back in the National Football League. Speed, power, strength, you name it. He's got it all. Size.
Yeah.
He's got everything. He is the
That's
best
what
running back in
impressed
the
me
league.
the most about Derrick Henry. Not just that he's huge, runs through everybody, but his speed. I didn't know he was that fast. Didn't he have the top speed of this past season? At that one run he broke, that was like 60 yards.
He may have, potentially, unless
That
one of the
run
Chiefs
was
broke
so
it.
fast. I like how we say one of the Chiefs. That's hilarious because you just immediately think it would be Tyreek Hill or someone like that. I think the second best running back in football this past season, I also don't think is going to be super argued. Jonathan Taylor. Dude was insane. We already talked about he had over 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns. A couple of that was receiving on both of those, but absolute insanity. But even with how amazing he was playing, it took him a while to pass Derrick Henry in rushing yards after Henry got injured. So these guys are studs. I think Derrick Henry is obviously at the top of the mountain, but I think Jonathan Taylor's right up there in S tier. However, if there is an S plus tier, Derrick Henry would be in it by himself, in my opinion. Czar?
Nope. Jonathan Taylor, I knew he's gonna be pretty good, but I was anxious to see how that would work with, we saw him last year. A lot of guys got hurt in that Colts running back room, and so Jonathan Taylor, he had to step up as a rookie, and he was great at Wisconsin, but stepping up as a rookie running back gets hard. And so I was wondering to see how he would do this season, and he just picked up right where he left off and continued to get better week to week. So
Yeah. I'll accept your input on this one before I actually put him down, because it's been kind of hard to tell. When he plays, he's so good. And I said we're not really taking injuries into account, but with injuries, it's hard to tell if someone is playing their absolute best or if they're playing
C-Mac is S tier.
I was gonna put C-Mac in S tier, but
C-Mac is S tier.
do you think he was definitively third best running back this season? Not even necessarily stats wise, but where would you rank him if you tried to rank like the top 3?
Ooh,
Where would
I would
C-Mac
have to
be?
look. I would have to look at his average stats per game, because Christian McCaffrey, I can't remember the last time he got consistent playing time.
That's what I'm saying. I still think Christian McCaffrey is S tier, but like, he's had a rough go about it lately.
Let's
Past couple
see how
years, at
good
least.
Google is at putting up stats. All right, so 2021 had 99 rushes for 442 yards,
Dang, that's sad,
averaging
bro.
4.5 a carry and only
How many
one
games
touchdown.
did he get to play?
I mean, how many games did he get to play? I wish it would
Only
show
one
me.
touchdown? Dang.
So
But yeah, I think
He
Christian McCaffrey's still S tier.
and I think he may have played through injuries.
Yeah, I think he
There's
did.
one search that says, "Did Christian McCaffrey retire?"
I'm laughing, but that's so sad. The fact that people would search that enough for it to be recommended because of how little he's been able to play sucks.
Yes, but man, the
Yeah.
dude just straight up. Let's see. 2021, he played in 7 games.
7 games, 400 something
Seven
yards,
games.
1 touchdown. Ooh. Ooh. I mean, even if you just look at it from a 7-game standpoint, 1 touchdown, 400 something yards, not exactly S tier caliber, but we'll leave him there. We know who Christian
Averaging
McCaffrey is.
63 yards a game, and I think he may have been playing through injury in a few of those games.
I think he was. We'll leave Christian McCaffrey in S tier. There's only, I'm looking through. There's only. See, I have way more opinions on the quarterbacks than I do the running backs, like stronger opinions. I feel like there's only one more running back I want to put in S tier, but at the same time, I feel like I could also put like 3 more in. There's 1 to 3 other running backs.
I have 2 more in my S tier.
So, I think I just have 2. But I think Nick Chubb is S tier. What's your gut reaction to that? Is that one that you had?
Ooh, I originally had him as my S tier.
Okay. I think Nick Chubb is S tier.
However, I did move him down to A tier because my question, would you rather have Nick Chubb or
You're about to ask me a question that I was going to answer in my speech, but go ahead and ask it.
this is kind of like an intro. Would you rather have Nick Chubb or would you rather have an Aaron Jones type?
Aaron Jones,
A
I was going to
dynamo in the backfield. Aaron Jones is part of my A tier.
Okay.
Not only is Aaron Jones part of my S tier, and not only is Aaron Jones part of my S tier, I also have Dalvin Cook up there.
Okay, so we're talking about a lot of players. Let's focus one by one for now. If I was doing, and this is just me personally, a lot of people would not do this and would not agree to this. If I was doing a draft of running backs, Derrick Henry would go number 1, but I honestly would pick Nick Chubb second. I think, obviously, Jonathan Taylor had a better season. Honestly, Christian McCaffrey, when he's healthy and 100%, is insane. I think Nick Chubb is a better player than Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor had a fantastic season. No knock on Jonathan Taylor. I just think Nick Chubb's a monster. Dude, not quite on the level that Derrick Henry is as far as built, big, trucking dudes. Nick Chubb is still like that, though. Nick Chubb runs through people, and he is fast. I love Nick Chubb. I'm a huge Nick Chubb fan. I think he's the... If we're taking out healthy Christian McCaffrey, I think Nick Chubb is the second best running back in football, but I definitely think Jonathan Taylor had the best running back season of any player this past season, for sure. As far as that goes, though, you're mentioning a couple other running backs that I believe are very good, that I'm going to talk about shortly. However, I only have one other S-tier running back in my opinion, and that is the man who instigated the first ever KyroCast conspiracy. I think Alvin Kamara, if we're just talking about the football field, is S-tier running back. Dude was carrying the Saints for a lot of those games. Just talking about football play, do you disagree with Alvin Kamara S-tier?
I could see him as an S tier. I would take Alvin Kamara over Nick Chubb.
Okay. And see, that's the thing. Depending on what your offense wants to be. Receiving, Nick Chubb can do it, but no, he's not as good as a Alvin Kamara or a Christian McCaffrey or even an Aaron Jones or probably Dalvin Cook when it comes to receiving. But Nick Chubb, just for what he can do as a pure... I think Nick Chubb is a pure running back, and I love to see that. But I can understand if you're going to be more of a passing offense, yes, Alvin Kamara would be a better fit. But as far as just raw talent, as far as, I guess, traditional running back play goes, I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily have enough of an opinion built to back up me taking Nick Chubb over some of these players. Because, like you said, a lot of these players are more diversified in their skill set. Obviously, Alvin Kamara is much better of a receiving back than Nick Chubb, but who's way better of a power back? Nick Chubb. I don't think that can be argued. And so it just kind of depends on the play style of the team, the scheme, that kind of thing. I think Nick Chubb is better at being a power back than Alvin Kamara is better at being a receiving back, if that makes sense. Maybe that doesn't... Maybe my point that I'm trying to make kind of makes sense. But either way, I'm not mad at someone not putting Nick Chubb as highly as I do. But these are my only S-tier running backs, I believe. Now, do you have any other thoughts on these S-tier quarterbacks? I'm about to talk about the A-tier. So before you mention running backs we haven't talked about, what do you think of this S-tier lineup?
Ooh. I like it. I'm not sure I'm putting Nick Chubb in there on my S tier. Okay. I think he's more of a mid to high A.
Okay, that's fair.
However, Nick Chubb, depending on the defenses he plays against, Nick Chubb is a very consistent running back. He shows up to play every week. Yeah. So
I'm subject to change.
Consistency.
I am open-minded to change my opinion throughout this tier list, but for now we're gonna go with this. What's up, Buendo? Welcome to the stream. Catching the second half of a NFL KyroCast here. A-tier running backs, I would put... I don't have too much... And I'm going to have even less to say about the running backs than I did some of the lower-tier quarterbacks. But as far as A-tier running backs go, at times, I believe Aaron Jones is an S-tier running back. But he will have really small games every now and then, like we saw in the playoffs. And I mean, even in the playoffs, he got blamed by a lot of people, but I don't think he was honestly that bad. When you look at how, I don't know, man. He didn't have a great game by any means. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't think he deserves as much blame as I felt like I kept hearing people say. Like, people kept saying, Aaron Jones sold. I don't really think so. Dude still... And again, being streaky as far as having a really good game or not, when you're on a team with Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest passing quarterbacks of all time, you're obviously a more passing team. So, yes, he's a good receiving back as well, but just being a passing team in general... Checking down to your running back is likely your last look, your last read. You're likely not trying to ever pass to Aaron Jones, unless it's like a screen or something. But most likely, when you're on a football team with Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest passers of all time, most of your plays are likely going to be him trying to pass it down the field and not to you. So when Aaron Jones has a not nearly as good game as people would expect from a superstar running back, I don't think that's Aaron Jones' fault. I think it's just kind of the team that he's on. Now, I think Aaron Jones has the talent to easily be an S-tier quarterback up here with these guys. I just think this team that he's on doesn't allow him to completely open up and go off like that. I think if Aaron Jones was on a team that needed to lean on its run game more than the Packers do, I think Aaron Jones would probably be an easy pick for S-tier, but definitely A-tier either way. Do you have any other thoughts on Aaron Jones?
No. I just think Aaron Jones is a stud. He has insane lateral quickness. Fast running back, he's big. I think
Aaron Jones is fantastic.
I think he's a consistent S tier.
Well. You think he's S tier, not A tier?
I think he's a consistent S tier.
Okay, I don't hate that. I'm gonna leave him in A tier for now. I do think he's really good. The reason I don't put him in S tier is because I feel like he has smaller. And again, I was able to easily tell you why this happens, or why I believe it happens, but because he has smaller games more frequently than I feel like these other guys do, that's why I put him in A. Other A-tier running backs, this guy, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel like Dalvin Cook didn't really have a good year. I still think he's A-tier, but I feel like Dalvin Cook did not have a great year. Let me look. I don't know.
I think he was a little down this year.
But I still think he's a great running back. I still think he's A-tier, but he did not have a fantastic year. Someone who did have a fantastic year that before this season I would have said is a C, B at best running back, in my personal opinion, who had a fantastic year, who I think, based on his season, is fair to put in A tier, would be James Conner. Do you disagree with that? James Conner had a nutty year, bro. Dude was scoring 30 to 40 fantasy points a week.
James Conner did have a great year, and he went about 5 or 6 weeks in a row where he had at least one rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
Because I remember my mother had him on her fantasy team, and she's like, James Conner isn't very good. I
That's
said,
what I'm saying.
well, you're not
bro.
paying attention.
Someone cut him, and I picked him up, and I had him on my bench. And then I noticed one week on my bench, he had like 37 points. Now I was like, what the heck is going on? So I started starting him, and he was balling for me after that. But I'm going to keep James Conner in A tier. Cardinals, James Conner, so far I believe is on a different level. And again, all of the Cardinals sucked a lot more the back half of the year than they were doing the first half and the middle of the season. But I think James Conner still had an A year. It's hard for me, without whittling some of these out, to place more players. Like, I know who some of my B tier are going to be, but I want to make sure I don't miss an A tier. Do you believe there's... how many more A tiers do you believe are still in the pool?
Ooh, well, let me look and see. Oh, well, there's one clear A tier that I'm able to see,
Okay, who do you think
and
I'm missing here?
that's my man Austin Eckler.
Austin Eckler. I agree. I agree. Austin Eckler had a great year.
Austin Eckler, LA's first year without Melvin Gordon. I was like, we'll see how good Austin Eckler is, and man, he came out and he balled out and showed up.
He was sweet.
And each year, with the exception of time off due to injury, the man's been great. The man's been very consistent.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's at least a B plus. But I don't mind putting him in A because I have a lot of running backs that I think are going to be B quarterbacks, or B running backs rather. And again, none of these are other than Derrick Henry, none of these are really ranked in number order. So anyone I put in B tier, I don't necessarily think is better than all the other B tier running backs if they're on the left side. I think honestly the most the thing is there are running backs that I think are better before I name this player I'm about to talk about. But I'm just gonna go into B tier running backs. One of the most raw talent and physically gifted running backs who just, I say physically gifted apart from injuries, is Saquon Barkley. I think, dude, easily in the right situation would be a top five. Oh golly, I keep saying quarterback. Would be a top 5 running back in S tier. Saquon Barkley is one of the most physically gifted dudes I've ever seen in my life, other than him getting injured a lot, which sucks. And the reason why he gets injured is because the dog crap, bottom of the barrel New York Giants have to lean on him so heavily any chance he gets to play football for them. I'm not going to put Saquon Barkley any lower than B tier by any means, even though he has not been able to have the season he deserves to have in pretty much ever, basically, when you think about it. I definitely have Saquon at B tier. I definitely think in the right situation and with health, he would be a top 5 running back in the league, most likely. But what do you think, Sar?
Oh, I think Saquon Barkley is an incredible running back. Just with all the injuries he's racked up over his career, they've all been pretty significant.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you see Saquon Barkley in the injury report, it always seems to be just a devastating injury. So,
yeah,
part of me wishes that he would get in a better situation than the New York Giants. Got a new general manager, and they still can't seem to do things right. So
yeah, it sucks. I mean,
we'll
I'm not complaining.
Hopefully, Brian Dable can get him rocking and rolling. But
when it comes to football, my feelings about teams outweigh how I feel about players. That said, I am a huge fan of players, more so than a lot of older people, like my dad in particular. He's all about teams, doesn't give a crap about players. That's all he cares about. I'm a big player fan, but I still value the teams more. That being said, I love seeing the Giants fail as an organization because I'm a Cowboys fan, and it is amazing to see. But that said, because I care about the players, I hate to see young players like Saquon Barkley, who has the potential to be an incredibly huge superstar running back. Daniel Jones, who I think has talent at quarterback. Obviously, I don't think he could be as good of a quarterback as I think Saquon Barkley could be as good of a running back. But my point is, I love to see the Giants fail because I'm a Cowboys fan, and I like to see that team and organization fail. But for the players, I hate it for them. Speaking of being a Cowboys fan, the player that I have pretty much made clear is my favorite player in football. Except, honestly, as of late, I don't know if I can even say that. I feel like I've just been disappointed so much by Ezekiel Elliott. I still think he's definitely B tier. I think if Tony Pollard was on this list, though, our backup, he would also be B tier. Ezekiel Elliott had the greatest rookie season of all time. Well, not actually, but his rookie season was insanely good. I love Ezekiel Elliott still. I root for him more than pretty much anybody. Number 21, he's pretty much who I picked my number after. There's a lot of things that went into me picking my signature number for life, but Ezekiel Elliott was a massive part of that. But I don't think it's fair to put him any higher than B tier. I do not think he's C tier. No. I think Ezekiel Elliott is still a good running back, but I don't think he's... In years, he hasn't played much more than that. A good to average good running back. He still runs through people, not as ferociously as he used to. He does not have the speed that he used to in his earlier years, which is honestly, I think, his biggest downfall. Him losing that quick step and that burst is what made him lose, in my opinion. That, alongside teams just preparing for him. When he was faster and running through people, he was like a Nick Chubb kind of thing, where he would burst into a hole, run somebody over, and keep running fast. Or he would run really fast and break a tackle because he's so strong. But now, he's strong and stuff, but he's not nearly as fast, and so he doesn't have that burst that breaks him into big plays. I haven't seen Ezekiel Elliott run farther than like 27 yards in what feels like 4 years, and it sucks. But I think he's B tier. That was really negative because I thought after his rookie year, as every Cowboys fan did, that Ezekiel Elliott was going to be a top 5 running back for the next 5+ years. And since his first year when he was the clear number 1 running back, he has done pretty much nothing. So I say pretty much nothing as far as expectations go. He's still a fine running back. He's still pretty good. He's still my favorite player pretty much. I mean, I really love Trayvon Diggs getting picks. I really love CeeDee Lamb, bro. But Zeke doing good still gives me more joy than any other player in football. I love it when Zeke does something good. He's still my favorite player pretty much. But don't think you can put him any higher than a B tier running back. Any thoughts on Zeke, Rambo?
Nope. No thoughts on Zeke that haven't already been mentioned. I think he's just, I don't know. He doesn't seem like he's the dynamo that he was in his first season in the league.
Yeah.
You know, everybody saw the Zeke leaps. Everybody saw the stiff arms.
The like 4
Everybody saw the essentially 40-yard dashes.
Yeah, the 40 to 60-yard touchdowns. He had like 5 or 6 of those in 1 year.
Yeah, I mean he still got that swagger, but you know,
yeah,
time will tell. Can Ezekiel Elliott go back to the player that he once was, or will he be a pretty high up there but still B tier running back?
The thing is, though, when it comes to the time will tell thing, a lot of players, like quarterbacks and things like that, maybe even some receivers, that works. But what running back can you think of that got substantially better after 5 years of playing? You know what I'm saying?
That's true, and that's what
running
concerns
backs
me with Ezekiel
always
Elliott.
decrease in value, especially after
you said
4
it
or 5
earlier.
years.
You said it earlier, and I agree. Running backs don't last very long, and especially in today's NFL, players are retiring early.
Mm-hmm.
Marshawn Lynch told him, protect your mentals and protect your chicken, right?
Yeah.
Protecting the mentals. A lot of players are retiring early.
Yeah.
You know.
And because of that, and with how the trend of running backs are in the NFL these days, it makes me think we'll never get to see Ezekiel Elliott have a great season again, which makes me sad. Which is why I think it would be best for the Cowboys, would be best for the team, I think, to move on from Zeke and go with Tony Pollard. Ezekiel Elliott is still my favorite player, but if you're looking at a completely objective, what is the best for the football team perspective, I think Tony Pollard being the main guy would be the way to go, which sucks. But which sucks for being a Zeke fan, but is what it is. Next running back I would put in B tier, I think would have to be, I want to say, hold on. Well, I think what do you think about Joe Mixon? I almost want to put Joe Mixon in A tier. I definitely think he's better than the 2 that we just talked about, as far as this past season goes. I almost want to put Joe Mixon in A tier.
I've got some guys that are 89.4 guys.
Is he your 89.4?
They won't round up to an A just yet, but they're so dang close. I feel like Joe Mixon's one of them 89.4s.
I kind of agree with that. I would put him as the highest B tier. I'd be happy with that.
The man's a ball player.
Joe Mixon is great, and I am really excited to see what he tries to do in the Super Bowl, because he had a good game against the Chiefs, man.
That's true. I feel like the NFL has a lot of 89.4s at the running back spot.
Yeah.
You've also got also got some 59.4s.
I also think Josh Jacobs is better than Saquon and Zeke right now. I think he's a B tier. I would not put Josh Jacobs in A tier like I would think about with Mixon, but I think Josh Jacobs is better than Zeke and Zeke and Saquon. I think he's definitely a B tier running back as far as pretty good but not great, not like fantastic. What do you think about Josh Jacobs?
I put Josh Jacobs at B tier. I would say Ezekiel Elliott is still above Josh Jacobs.
Arkansas Josh Jacobs just lost by 1 to Alabama basketball.
Classic Arkansas.
Anyways, Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs, he's definitely better than Ezekiel Elliott at getting arrested.
That's funny. I was not expecting you to say that. Oh man. Okay. This guy is another one of those kind of like C-Mac that hasn't got to show his true potential in a long time. But I still think when healthy, Raheem Mostert is a really good running back. I put him in B tier. He didn't really get to play again this year. Not like I feel like he should be able to play. How many games did he even play this year, man? Before having to have surgery again.
Oh goodness.
Do a quick search for
Not
him.
many.
But I really like Raheem Mostert. I can see people putting him in C tier, but I love Raheem Mostert, bro. He's so fast.
I love watching Raheem Mostert play.
Mm-hmm.
The man is so fast and speedy with the ball.
Yes.
Give him a quick pitch to the outside. He gets to the edge before anybody recognizes where the edge is.
And then he's gone.
Man's
bro. Just bust 75 yards out of you.
Just
so
incredible
fast.
Speed. One game.
But man, if you tackle him once, out for the season.
One game. 2 rushes for 20 yards.
That's his only game?
It's his only game.
It hurts,
I remember, it was at Detroit. I remember that game now because I drafted him on my fantasy football team.
Yo!
And he got hurt, and man, it was so sad. I really...
Hold on, do we see a sub? What the... Oh, I forgot to open my stream labels. Hold on. I forgot to do that before this stream. That is my bad. Just a second here. That is my bad. We could have been having alerts this whole time that I never saw. Oh, on YouTube someone subscribed. That's awesome. I didn't know it notified me here for that. That's cool. Someone just subscribed on YouTube. Alexis M, whoever you are. Thanks for the sub on YouTube. Appreciate it. And thanks Caleb for the sub earlier again, the resub. Heck yeah. Let me just go ahead and open. Let's go ahead and open these since I forgot to. Can't believe I forgot to do that. It's because I just kind of jumped into this stream the second I got a chance today. Streams still look good. Like I'm not super laggy or anything, am I? I just had to open some programs. I just want to make sure it didn't tank the stream's productivity. Asking you, Czar. Hello?
Sorry, I had to mute for a second.
Oh, you're good.
I'm good to go, man. I think everything's...
Okay, stream still look good and all that?
Yep.
Okay, alright. Back
Still
into
rocking
this.
and
Might
rolling.
be. But, Alexis M, thank you for subbing on YouTube. I appreciate it. I didn't realize it had that. I didn't realize I'd linked that to my notifications on Twitch. Interesting. Alright, back at it. We love Raheem Mostert. He's really fast. Very unfortunate how his career has been the last at least 2 years. Other running backs, would I put any others in B tier? I don't...
Well, let's take...
Okay, no.
Let's take a look.
Leonard Fournette would definitely be B tier.
I will say, another... Ooh, we're missing 2 guys.
That are B tier or that are even higher?
We're missing 2 guys that are like high B tier.
Name one of them.
Ooh, high B tier is David Montgomery from the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I'll put him.
I put David Montgomery as a B tier. Nobody ever talks about David Montgomery because he plays for the Chicago Bears.
That's probably true. I was about to say I have absolutely no thoughts on David Montgomery.
But David Montgomery, the man's carrying the Chicago Bears offense
I
until
believe it.
Darnell Mooney decided to make some good plays out there at the receiver spot. So, but David Montgomery, he has been the sole lifeboat of the Chicago Bears offense under Matt Nagy for the last 2 or 3 years. Matt Nagy is gone now. Hopefully they can get something going in Chicago because I'm tired of seeing Chicago lose. They're an iconic football town, and their
Yeah.
team hasn't been good for years.
Yeah, I would like to see the Bears be good too.
And then also, what about a DeAndre Swift? What about a DeAndre Swift type
Ooh,
running back?
DeAndre
Because
Swift,
DeAndre
for
Swift,
sure. He's really
great,
good.
a great receiving running back out of the backfield.
Dude.
And the man's super fast, got good hands. He can break tackles and get yards after contact. And he's a touchdown machine, man.
No one's going to think this because he's on the Lions, but I honestly think DeAndre Swift might even be A tier. He is good, bro. I know it's a little bit ambitious.
You could put him as an A tier. You could.
It's ambitious, but DeAndre Swift is a stud amongst not studs. Because there are not a lot of studs over there in Detroit. But DeAndre Swift is a baller, bro. I almost want to put him in A tier, but I'll leave him in B because your team sucks, bro.
He and David Montgomery, I would say, are both high Bs.
Again, I'm not even really ranking them.
They're running backs that are very much overlooked because they're on bad teams.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, anyway, I think that rounds out my Bs.
I'd agree. I don't see anyone else that I'd put in B tier. Is this running back Chris Carson? But he didn't really get to play this year. Who is this Seattle running back?
That is Chris Carson.
That is Chris
indeed.
Carson. I honestly would almost put him in B tier when he's good. I'll go ahead and put him in C. He didn't really get to play at all.
I'd say for this, I'm kind of doing it more for this season. There's a lot of guys that'll be in my C tier that are very good. I'd agree.
The
only tier that will be like my not good running backs is D. If you're in C tier, I still think
C tier
highly
is still
of you.
pretty good. And I don't really have much to say about those C tier running backs. The running backs are really good. Sometimes they'll have great games, but pretty much they're just kind of average. I would also put J.K. Dobbins and Clyde Edwards-Helaire in that category alongside.
If I'm being honest, man, I'm putting Clyde in the D tier.
Really?
He didn't do so much this season.
Man.
I feel like Jerick McKinnon's the lead guy in Kansas City now.
He might be.
I don't know if he's gonna be a free agent coming up soon in a few months, but
Can you look up Clyde's stats real quick for me?
I mean, you look, he started out, he was the man. Let's get a look here. Let's see. Against the Bengals, 6 carries for 36. Versus the Bills, 7 carries for 60. Steelers, 9 carries for 27.
Yeah.
Chargers, 9 carries for 32. Against the Eagles and the Chargers, he had 200-yard games back-to-back.
Mm-hmm. Does he have much receiving going on at all? Pass-heavy team.
So, I mean, you take...
can you see his receiving stats? Are they?
You take a look at his stats. Well, just go with the rushing before I move over to receiving.
Okay.
This season, he had 119 carries for 517 yards. In 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's
5,
also
6,
that's
7,
just
8,
not
9,
a ton of
10,
reps.
11,
for
12
a
in
starting
12 games played. 12 games played. That needs to be considered as
yeah,
well.
That's true.
This Clyde Edwards-Helaire is slightly injury prone.
That was like what, almost 4 or 5 yards a carry or something. That's not bad.
4.3. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean,
so I would say,
it's not
and then
mind-blowing, but...
regular season, 19 receptions for 129 and 2 touchdowns. 2 fumbles lost.
Yeah.
That's another thing about Clyde. He and DeAndre Swift both. He does not have the best ball security.
Yeah.
Could be worse. That's what moves Clyde Edwards-Helaire down for me is the ball security and the risk of being injury prone.
I'm still kind of inclined.
C-Mac is S tier because he wasn't injury prone until a few years ago, and then he got kind of snake bit.
Yeah.
It's been downhill ever since, but the man still.
That's true.
The
there were a lot
natural
of
talent level between Clyde and C-Mac is not comparable.
I'll put him in D. I'm blanking on his name right now, but my gut from what I watched multiple Bills games this year. I think
Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary is C tier.
Yeah.
Devin Singletary is a C tier.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good. The Bills kind of like to have multiple running backs. They kind of like a 1-2 punch with him and Zach Moss in the backfield. But Devin Singletary's been the lead guy before.
Yeah, he's good.
I think Devin Singletary's C tier.
The
And a lot of these guys, that are
player,
left.
he's pretty good, right? Do you think he's C tier?
Antonio Gibson from the Washington Commanders, formerly the Washington Football Team.
Formerly
never mind.
redacted.
Antonio Gibson. Yeah, Antonio Gibson. I've seen him play well multiple times against the Cowboys.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I don't really have much to say about him. I've seen him play multiple times, and I just always don't feel like he's bad, as I feel
Antonio
about a lot
Gibson,
of the Washington players I see. I don't ever feel like he's playing bad.
He's just a well-rounded
average
running back.
Yeah, I'd agree. This Broncos, this is Melvin Gordon, right?
That is Melvin Gordon. It's weird seeing him as a Bronco when he's formerly a Charger.
Yeah, that's why
Melvin Gordon had a pretty good season this year, I will say. He had some touchdowns this year that reminded me of kind of like the vintage Melvin Gordon. Yeah. Is he the old Melvin Gordon that we once knew? No, but he's still high up there.
In
Mile High State.
Whatever happened to Philip Lindsay? I feel like he was pretty good for a couple years, and then they brought in
Philip Lindsay
Gordon.
is on this list. He is number 30 for the Texans in the practice jersey.
He's on the Texans? What?
Yes, he was the Houston
How
Texans.
How did I not know that? Bro.
Because he's part of the Houston Texans, and they never really played him.
Yeah, do they still have David Johnson?
Ooh.
Where did he go? Because he was like an S tier a few years ago.
I did not even keep up with the Texans.
But this number 30, this is Philip Lindsay, but we don't even know if he played. That's D tier, but
that is Philip Lindsay.
Philip Lindsay I would have put in B tier a couple of years ago, I feel like.
I probably would have done the same thing. But I can't confirm though for the Houston Texans that is Philip Lindsay.
Okay.
I think he is no longer I think Philip Lindsay is no longer a Houston Texan. Okay, he's a Miami Dolphin now. So I think they may have.
Who is?
Did he get traded? Philip Lindsay. But I believe now that I think about it, I believe he got traded to the Dolphins.
Okay, but is this number 30 still Lindsay? I mean, whoever the Texans running back is D tier. I don't even care.
That is Philip Lindsay.
Either way, whatever this Texans running back is, D tier. But I guess
the Texans at running back, they have David Johnson and Royce Freeman.
They do still have David Johnson. Does he play?
Yes, and he plays a little bit. Royce Freeman gets most of the carries from the University of Oregon. A beast in the Rose Bowl with Mariota against Jameis Winston. NFL.
That was a blast from the past.
Average.
Yeah. Which Eagles running back is this? Because don't they have 2 or 3 that play pretty well?
That is Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders and Boston Scott and Jordan Howard all get plenty of carries. Yo, Lance, welcome back. Hey, Lance, I got a challenge for you. Name all 4 teams in the AFC South without looking it up on Google. Go.
What are the other teams in the Titans division, Lance? We wanted to see if you would know that as a big Titans fan. But don't look it up. Actually try.
If you take too long, you fail.
Jags, Titans, Texans, Colts.
I'll be switched. Good job.
I'll be switched. But yeah, whichever one of those Eagles running backs, I would put them in C tier. Their running game was their only, I feel like, pretty consistent part of their offense.
That is true. It's inconsistent because one running back is good one game, and then the next week they have to go to the whole other side of the depth chart.
Yeah.
1 week it's Boston Scott. 1 week it's Miles Sanders. 1 week it's Jordan Howard running up the middle from the 5 scoring TDs.
Yep. I'd still put it C tier, I think. What do you think?
I think, let's see.
I think do we have? It's Miles Sanders, right? Whoever it is, the starting
I'll put Miles Sanders at C.
I'd probably agree. Is this Steelers one? Is that Najee Harris?
That is Najee Harris. A lot of these guys are borderline B and C.
I'm about to say
Najee Harris
give me C.
Najee Harris, James Robinson, Cam Akers. I'm putting them borderline B and C.
I agree. Najee Harris is good. Yeah, it's Najee Harris coming from the Steelers.
Y'all accusing me of being a casual.
Yeah, that is what we were accusing you of, Lance.
Oh.
Man. My gut from here on is telling me, is this running back? It's what? What's his name? Tell me the Rams one. What's his name?
Cam Akers. Cam
That is
Akers
Cam
coming back from a
Akers.
torn Achilles in July, coming back to join the Rams for a Super Bowl run. His ball security needs work, but the man is a stud.
Yeah, I put him in C.
If
I'm going
he's
through
not
everybody.
hurt, may put him high C, low B.
Mhm.
The man's good out of Florida State. He's got plenty of potential.
My gut is telling me. Who is the guy in the middle down there in the practice jersey? Who is that?
That is Mike. Okay, that is Mike Davis. Mike Davis.
What team is that? It's the Falcons. He played awful.
That
I
is
have
the
him on my
Atlanta
fantasy
Falcons.
team.
Mike
He was
Davis
garbage.
is D tier. Mike Davis had a good season replacing Christian McCaffrey 2 seasons ago in Carolina,
And then
he
did
left.
nothing for the Falcons.
He left to replace Todd Gurley and their dysfunctional offense in Atlanta. He didn't do anything.
But after, I think all the rest of these are pretty much D tier. That's what my
James
gut's telling me.
Robinson. James Robinson from the Jacksonville Jaguars
James
is
Robinson
C
pretty
tier.
good. Yeah, you're right.
Except he's hurt, and so we won't see him for a while.
Yeah.
Good news, though, if you're a Jags fan, you will see Travis Etienne with Trevor Lawrence next season. The college duos are becoming a big thing in the NFL.
Which is crazy. Who is this Patriots running back? Because I feel like their running game was pretty good at one point during
That
the
is
season.
Damian Harris from Alabama. Damian Harris is
Wow.
low C.
But I think he would also be in C tier. But Jets and Dolphins, they got to be D tier.
Michael Carter, rookie from the Jets. I'll put him at D tier. He's on a bad team. He has plenty of potential to rise through the ranks. Myles Gaskin, super inconsistent. Low C, high D.
Chat's asking about Najee Harris. This is Najee Harris right here. He's high C tier.
Chat, disclaimer. If you're a C tier running back, I still think very highly of you.
This is the case with all of our tier lists. I don't think any starter at a position in the National Football League is a bad player. So I think S tier is the best, obviously. Everyone, I got more hate for putting Carson Wentz in B tier than I did for putting Dak in A tier. I got so much hate for putting Carson Wentz. Like, my family was texting me because they watched the clip out, and they're like, Carson Wentz is not B tier. That's the only pick that I got a ton of hate for, other than the Dak one, but I expected that. Najee Harris, one of the top C tiers. He's good. But yeah, for all these lists that we're doing, S tier is best of the best. A tier is very good, superstar. B tier is top half good. C tier is you're still a good player, but you're more average. And the D tier is bottom of the league, but I still don't think you're F or bad or anything. But C tier, I just say, is the average, middle to back half of the road when it comes to being good. Wasn't this Najee Harris's rookie season? Was it?
Yes.
I'd say I've heard his name for a while, but
this was his rookie season. I think he's going to improve. I think he's going to especially improve if they can get a good quarterback to replace Ben. When you have Ben at quarterback, they're not worried about Ben. So, I mean, I'm just being honest. I don't care if he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. They're not going to worry about Ben. He's gone.
Yeah.
I think Najee Harris is going to shine as a result.
Yeah, I think next season, Najee Harris will easily be a B higher. I could see him being an A tier by the end of next season. He's definitely got huge potential. He's definitely good. He's high C tier right now. That's where I leave him. Any disagreements, Czar?
Nope. I think it's pretty good for the most part. For the most part, I'd say it's pretty good.
I know you don't think Chubb is quite S tier, and you think Aaron Jones is, but is there much else you disagree with? I just put respect on his name, Wendo. We talked about him extra. That was putting respect on his name. I just said I think next season he's going to be B or A. Anyways, much else you disagree with, Czar, on this list?
Nope.
I think I like it.
I will say, if this is the last segment we're doing, once we get off of this, I do have a question for chat.
There's going to be one more segment, which will be just final thoughts on the Super Bowl, and I'll give you my wager. My wager. I'll propose my wager to you that you better accept the wager. But we're going to talk about our picks and stuff, and this will be our last precursor before the Super Bowl, and then after the Super Bowl, hopefully not too long after the Super Bowl, we'll have a post-Super Bowl reaction stream where we talk about everything. Oh, put some respect on Big Ben's name. Big Ben, Hall of Fame quarterback. He has not been good for multiple years, in my opinion, though. I still put him at C tier quarterback from this past season, though. So that's the most respect I can give. I really wanted to put him in D tier because Big Ben looks really clunky and bad sometimes. But I think it's a pretty good running back list. I'm pretty happy with it. Bengals will win. We're about to talk about the Super Bowl. That'll be our last segment. But I think I'm pretty happy with this running back list. Let's go. All right, everybody. You know how it is. You know how I go. You know how KyroCast be. I take bathroom breaks between segments because I chug bottles of water while I'm streaming, and it runs through me. So I'll be back in a moment for our final segment, which is our final Super Bowl thoughts, just precursing the big game. And then I'm excited to have a stream post Super Bowl to talk about everything. This has been a ton of fun. I will see you guys in just a minute. Czar, as always, feel free to entertain chat while I'm gone if you feel like it. Insane. We also check out the clip out. While we're talking about it, there is a new KyroCast channel on YouTube. I'm going to plug it when this becomes more of a consistent, high production thing. But for now, I'll just go ahead and mention it in this stream. All of these live streams are going to be not put on my main YouTube channel. My main YouTube channel is still going to be gaming, and I'm going to make a video talking about all this at some point. But just to let you guys know, my main YouTube channel is still going to be gaming. The KyroCast channel, it's not going to change. But just because people are more interested in gaming over there, to not clutter that up, I'm going to keep all the sports talk and stuff on a separate channel known as Kyro Sports. So please go subscribe to Kyro Sports. The channel is already made. That's where I put the clip out from the first one of these shows we did. But that's where this one will be. And you'll be able to go back and find the first KyroCast conspiracy theory on that, which was earlier in the stream. So, yes, I washed my hands. Relax. Relax. They're clean. Gosh. So you're creating a sports channel? Because I don't want the main channel to be cluttered with, like, most people want to watch gaming over there. I'm going to keep that gaming and put the sports stuff over on Kyro Sports. I'll still be more active on my main channel, but whenever I do have something sports-wise to go on about, like when we do this show, or if I want to make some other kind of sports video, it'll be over on Kyro Sports. But I definitely recommend, if you're interested, if you want to show me support, or if you're interested in that, or both, go subscribe to Kyro Sports. Oh my gosh, no. But yeah, and you can search NFL KyroCast, and I think it'll pull it up as well. But it's NFL KyroCast is the name of the show that we're doing, but Kyro Sports is the channel name, because I'm going to do any kind of sports videos I want to do over there. So, shameless plug, if you're watching on YouTube, then you're already here. Great job. I'm proud of you for not only finding the second channel, but also watching this far into this show. It's impressive. I hope someone eventually hears this on the YouTube. At least one person, and I'll be happy. Anyways, let's move on to our final segment, which is just talking about the Super Bowl. We've already talked about it in the last episode, all the reasons. I want Joe Burrow to win. My pick is the Bengals. Czar Nasty wants the Rams to win. I believe that is his pick as well. Is that still your pick, Rambo?
Oh, yes, the Rams are definitely my pick. I'm taking the Rams all the way. I've had faith in the Rams for the past few years now. I haven't been able to get it done, but I've always knew that they'd make it back. This is the time to make all my dreams come true. Sean McVay gets a Super Bowl. Matt Stafford gets a Super Bowl. The city of Los Angeles gets the Super Bowl.
All right, so yeah, and I'm picking the Bengals. He's picking the Rams. Now, here's the thing. I think I'm rooting for the Bengals. I'm picking the Bengals. I think the Rams probably will win. The Rams are a better football team. The Rams, just all around, they're well-rounded. They don't really have any holes. They're more veteran, seasoned team. They have, I believe, a slightly better coach. I think the Bengals coach is great, but Sean McVay is a little bit more experienced as far as, well, he's been to the Super Bowl. Yeah, the Bengals haven't been to the Super Bowl since '89. Know that already. Or '88 or '89, one of the two. But yeah. The thing is, though, it's like I mentioned the other day. So far in these playoffs, the Bengals are better than the Raiders. But the Bengals were not a better team than the Titans. With Derrick Henry, by the way. The Bengals were not a better team than the Chiefs. But they beat both of those teams. Here's the thing, though. If the Bengals are going to win this game against the Rams, they cannot fall behind. It is a lot easier to come back against the Kansas City Chiefs than it is to come back against the Rams, in my opinion. The Chiefs pass a lot more. Their defense is not as strong, especially I don't think their secondary, and they didn't have Tyrann Mathieu, right? Isn't that correct? They didn't have Tyrann Mathieu in part of that game in the AFC Championship. Yeah. But the Rams defense is just way better. And you're not going to be able to come back like that. So if they go down like they did against the Chiefs, I don't think there's any way they actually come back to win the game. So I think the Rams have to score a touchdown on their first or second drive to have a chance, really. I think it's going to be a little bit more defensive than you'd expect in the first half, but I think it'll ramp up a lot in the second half. I think the halftime score is going to be like 13-10, 17-10, somewhere in that range, if I had to guess. And then I think final score, I could see it getting like in the 20s probably. If it gets up to the 30s, I would love to see a high-scoring Super Bowl with these teams. They have really good offenses. It'd be cool to see like in the 30s or something, but I would probably guess, around 28-24 would be my final score prediction. Something like that. 27-24, depending on field goals and stuff like that. I would probably say something like that. Czar, what are your thoughts on scoring like halftime and final score?
This should be interesting. I'm predicting a 27-21 victory by the Rams. I think the Rams are probably going to start off the game. They're going to get off to an early lead, and then the Bengals are going to try to claw their way back. And I think they're going to get it done to an extent, but I don't think they'll be able to do it enough. I think especially, though, even if the Rams do score on their first possession, the first quarter is probably going to be rough offensively for both teams. Look in the past Super Bowls.
No matter how
good the offenses are, the Super Bowl jitters, they generally favor the defense. The Rams have the better defense by far. I would say one of the best defenses in the league over the past few years consistently. With all the additions they've added now, I think the Rams defense is going to be the huge key for this game, and I think they'll lead the Rams to victory on the defensive side of the ball.
And I definitely think that's what gives the Rams the edge. I think the Rams, the Bengals have a lot of swagger, but they're a very young team. I think the Rams will be less nervous than the Bengals going into this. The Bengals have been there before, slightly recently. Matt Stafford might be nervous out of his mind because this is pretty much his one shot. I mean, he never even won freaking playoff games until this year, pretty much. I think it's highly likely the Rams win. I would love to see the Bengals. I'm rooting for the Bengals. I'm picking the Bengals. So here's my wager to you, Czar Nasty. Rambo, my wager to you. And you better accept. If the Rams win, so if your pick is correct, I will gift on the next NFL KyroCast, I will gift a random sub to chat, but I will also, you're currently subbed from a gifted sub from Caleb. When that expires for next month, I will gift your sub for free. So I will gift a sub to a random viewer in chat on our next stream, and I will gift your next sub after your current one expires. I will gift that for you, so you don't have to pay it. I will gift that. So basically, I'm gifting 2 subs, one of which will be to you next month, if the Rams win. If the Bengals win, which, as we've established, is not nearly as likely, you gift a random sub to chat on the next stream. Just the one. What do you say? That's a fair wager. You better take that. Are you pondering or what? What's going on? I can't hear you. Are you muted again? Yeah, it's $5.
I am pondering.
You're pondering? Cringe.
I understand that the wager is fair, but here's the thing. I don't like fair wagers. I like wagers that go in my favor.
What? That's bullcrap. It goes in your favor. I'm gifting 2 and gifting to you. You're gifting 1. That goes in your favor, bro. Come on. And your team was more likely to win anyways.
But you gotta understand, I'm like Eugene Krabs. I don't just give out free money.
It's $5, and it's a bet on the Super Bowl. Bruh, come on now.
I'm not a betting man unless it's a lock. It's not 100% locked. As high as I've been on the Rams, let's be honest, The Bengals are good.
Lance
You talked
is
about
right.
swagger.
Oh my
Swagger can't win a game for you. However, the it factor that Joe Burrow has and that he's developing currently, that can win you a game. Jamar Chase's athleticism, that can win you a game. Trey Hendrickson getting a good pass rush on Stafford, that can win you a game. Evan McPherson kicking a game-winning field goal, that can obviously win you the game. So no, I'm not betting.
What is wrong with you? I'm not even... Bro, we gotta have an entertaining show somehow. Bragging rights is bullcrap. We're gonna have
bragging rights.
If this is gonna be an entertaining show, you're gonna have to learn to take the wager, bro.
Bragging rights are enough for me.
You'll win some. It'll go back and forth. But yeah, Command Rambo is right. That's 100% deserved. I'm pissed. Oh my cringe. Yeah, Czar, have you ever heard of helping your teammates? Lance says 30-31 on the prediction. I don't know what team he thinks is going to win, though. I think he's on the Bengals train with me. Czar, that's mega cringe. Everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, can we get some Czar hate in the comments? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for leaving a Czar hate comment. I appreciate that. But that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. I got to go take a test and do some homework, so that's going to be the rest of my day. Yay. But tomorrow, I'm going to be watching the Super Bowl. I'll be watching it with my brother. We're going to be eating some nice Buffalo Wild Wings. I'll be eating that buffalo chicken, baby. And yeah, hopefully... Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow night after the Super Bowl. I don't know if that would be an option to do a post-Super Bowl immediate stream, or if we'll do it next week sometime. But there will be a post-Super Bowl reaction stream, I'm certain, Czar. Are you going to be able to show up for that?
Oh, absolutely.
And if the Bengals win, you better freaking... I don't care. You're not going to take the bet. You better take the bet. You better
I'm excited for a post-game reaction. It's going to be a good game for sure. Something unorthodox will happen.
I'm excited.
Something that happens, and everybody's just going to go like, wait, what?
I agree.
It's going to happen.
I'm excited for that gifted sub from Czar. That'll be amazing. I'm just going to bug him about it until he accepts the wager. Because that is a fair deal that he better take. It's supposed to be fun, entertaining. Plus, listen, at best case scenario, you don't have to deal with me bugging you for the next couple months. At worst case scenario, you pay $5 to support your best friend who's giving you the opportunity to be a co-host on an NFL talk show. I think it's a fair wager if I just say so myself. But what do I know? Especially for someone that's about to drop, what, $50 to $100? I don't know how much a pay-per-view is to watch UFC tonight. Cringe. It's whatever, bro. I'm going to head on out of here, though. That's going to be the end
UFC 271 live from Houston, Texas tonight. Be there. Pay-per-view starts at 9 o'clock. Buy that pay-per-view ahead of time.
Get this man out of here. Kicked him off the call. We're done. Stingy, I know, bro. Stingy, cringy, Netflix bingy. I don't know. I needed a rhyme, though. That was a bar! Either way, it was a bar. That was a bar either way. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go take a test. I'm going to go do some homework. I'm going to hate my life. But tomorrow at 5 o'clock, I'm going to be sitting down, ready to eat some Buffalo Wild Wings and watch the Super Bowl and watch Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals walk into SoFi Stadium and come out with a ring and a trophy. The first one in history for the city of Cincinnati. And they're all going to whip it out for Harambe. It's going to be amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching this stream. If you watched the clip out on YouTube, thank you. And subscribe to Kyro Sports. Leave a like. It's going to be amazing. No, the kickoff is at 5:30. I'm going to be watching at 5, though. Or I'm going to be sitting down ready to go at 5. It's not 6:30. It's 5:30, I believe. Maybe 6:30 Eastern, but 5:30 for us. So, anyways, I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.